views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola, everyone. Welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Chari Executive Suite. I'm Butterfly, Rhina Valentin. Woo, just call me Mariposa today. Here with you every Friday, and here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll hear about the New York Village Halloween Parade, first ever double magnificent intergalactic miniature Halloween parade that will feature puppeteers from NYC's local artists. And we'll get some safety tips from Halloween when we speak to St. Barnabas Hospital Director of Pediatric Infectious Diseases, Dr. Rhina Valentin. After that, we'll speak to the cast and crew of Night Call to discuss what it's like to shoot a short film thriller during the pandemic. And then we'll sit down with members from YVote to discuss the different ways they're encouraging young adults to make a difference for this upcoming 2020 presidential election. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight features singer and songwriter Alexa Ayaz, who will perform her new single, Toxic, at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are in the Halloween Open. Welcome back to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, you can follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So, Halloween 2020 will be one for the records. Although the New York City's Village Halloween Parade has been canceled due to COVID-19 restrictions, the organizers of the parade decided to give New Yorkers a special artistic Halloween treat by showcasing the world premiere, first ever double magnificent intergalactic miniature Halloween parade. Oh my gosh, joining us to tell us more, we welcome New York's Village Halloween Parade artistic and producing director Gene Fleming and visual artist Richard Prowse. And oh my gosh, that was so delicious to just roll out of my tongue. Please do share where this new concept came from. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say it besides myself. So that was really fun.
It is fun.
You know, we had to figure out what we were going to do, and it was really difficult because we're a live event. It's all about the interaction between people. And so we knew we weren't going to go online and try to do a virtual event. So we decided we had to do something that was as authentic and creative as the event itself, that allowed people to be able to participate in the same way as if they were making their costume for the parade. And so we decided, since we're famous for giant puppets, that what we would do is we would make the giants tiny and we would make the humans big. So we're going tiny and big. So the tiny part is what we're talking about today. Because I knew a wonderful person like Richard Prowse, who can paint up a storm and do anything, I knew that we could recreate New York City in miniature as a setting for all of the puppets. I commissioned 30 artists to make puppets for this mini parade. They were all unemployed actors set designers, people in theater, puppeteers. People had nothing to do. They were getting depressed. And this project just allowed for a lot of wonderful artistic participation and joy and creativity. So that's kind of where this started, was like, okay, we're going to go tiny.
Well, tiny, but in a big way, because this is a big undertaking, right?
Yes.
So, Rich, I see you're standing in front of a mural of what looks like a miniature New York. Do you care to share?
No.
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 Why not? Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
No.
I'm looking at this amazing set behind you, and I'm going, oh, please do share. What is all of that?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I can't remember exactly how this morphed, but Jean and I were speaking about this event and wondering how we were going to put them in front of New York. And I think it might have been I who said, maybe it can move. The backdrop could move, and that way the puppets wouldn't be so stagnant. And Jean just went crazy for that idea, and so we went with that. And Jean came up with a list of what she considered the iconic buildings of New York, and I tried to fit them all within 40 feet.
Wow.
There it is.
So, how long has it taken you to design this backdrop that we're looking at right now?
Oh God, I guess I must have designed it in maybe a couple of hours. And then it took me the better part of 2 weeks to paint it.
To paint it, and so how long is that?
It's
in
41 feet, between 41 and 42 feet long.
Wow.
But all you see at any time is 20 feet.
Uh-huh.
Because it scrolls between two spindles. And there are times in the video you'll see that there are a lot of puppets on stage. They look like they're walking up the street, but it's the drop that's rolling, not the puppets.
Oh my gosh, this just sounds so exciting. It really does. And so, all right, so how many puppets are there all together?
I think there are about 30 altogether.
And so what kind of experience should people prepare themselves for?
I think it's really going to be quite surprising. It's amazing how much it feels like the parade itself. Somehow or another, just by serendipity, we got all the parts of the parade from these puppeteers. I didn't tell anyone what to do. So they just I said, make your avatar. What would you come to the parade as this year? So we have everything from women, men, gay, straight. We have Black Lives Matter in it. We have Get Out the Vote. We have creatures. We have spiders and snakes. So it's all over the place. It's really, really exciting. It's kind of like the parade itself.
And so, again, I'm trying to visualize here, right? Because you're saying that the actual backdrop is going to be the part that's in motion. So that's what's moving, and the puppets are just narrating a story. Like what?
It's both. It's both. Yeah. So it was shot with all of the puppets moving across the stage, and then it was shot with the puppets stationary and the drop moving. So you get a little bit of both, and it makes it a little hard to tell that they're not moving. It's quite fascinating. And back on that, an associate of ours, I guess you'd call her name is Sarah Bissonette, was the one who said, hey, why can't we just do all of Manhattan? We're not confined to just the Village. So that's why we chose Liberty to Cloister.
I told the police that we didn't have to ask them permission. It's Halloween Takes Manhattan, all of Manhattan.
Will there be police puppets?
Oh, there should be.
It should be. There is a sanitation truck at the end.
There is.
This just sounds like so much fun. I think it's brilliant. Where did he go? Oh, wow. So, wow, we just got a visual of like the dynamics. What's that?
Oh, he brought over the sanitation
truck. Oh my gosh. And it's bling blinged out. It's oh, how beautiful.
And it says on it really the theme of this whole thing, which is till we meet again, till we can come together again in person, which is what matters to us. We're hoping that next year, there is a grand marshal of this parade. It's Pinocchio. And he says, this year I'm a puppet, but next year I hope to be a real boy. And I think that's what we're all hoping, that we'll all be real boys and girls, and whatever you are, be again next year.
And most importantly, be together, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for bringing it to our viewers. I'm looking forward to it. Jean, Richard, you guys, once again, the world premiere, first ever double magnificent intergalactic miniature Halloween parade will be available for all to see on Halloween. You can visit halloween.nyc.com, and that's taking place at noon on all social media platforms as well. So the Bartow Appel Mansion in Pelham Bay Park is celebrating Halloween with a tour along with trick-or-treating trek outdoors. Reporter Ashley Tiffany has the story. Let's take a look.
This Halloween, Bartow Appel Mansion in Pelham Bay Park is living up to its name.
A lot of people say it is haunted. I personally have not seen anything.
Museum Administrator Susan Cheslov says the house tour is decorated with spooky sights for families to enjoy.
Due to COVID, we can't do our Bartow Appel Mansion haunting, but we've decorated the rooms with a little bit of Halloween flair, and we have public tours Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
The Bartow Appel house was first built in 1654 when physician Thomas Pell bought the 50,000-acre land from the Lenape people. Now, as a National Historic Landmark, the museum offers programs, exhibitions, and special events that connect the past to the present.
We love Halloween, and this year is going to be an extraordinary Halloween. We want people to come and feel good and be happy, and just take a break from everything that's going on in the world.
Starting October 25th to October 31st, the museum will have trick-or-treat trek outdoors, so come dress in your Halloween costume. For more information, you can visit their website below. Reporting for BronxNet, Ashley Tiffany.
Outdoors is where it's at this year. That's right. Thank you, Ashley Tiffany. All right, so every year, kids anticipate dressing up for trick-or-treating for Halloween. And, well, this year, things may be very different due to the pandemic. And joining us to give us some safety tips for Halloween, we welcome St. Barnabas Hospital Director of Pediatric Infectious Diseases, Dr. Karim Hadari. Hello and welcome, Doctor. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So I'm so happy that you're with us so that we can share with our viewers the importance of really taking a different approach this year for Halloween. And while I understand it isn't recommended that people trick or treat, if they do trick or treat, what are you recommending to use as safety precautions when trick or treating?
So I think primarily, keeping it outdoor is going to be the most important piece of advice. I think that we know now that, staying outdoors make the transmissibility 20 times less than when you're indoors. So keep it outdoor is the most important thing. So if you plan on going trick-or-treating, really keeping, distancing, physical distancing, so staying 6 feet apart, keeping it within your close circle of family and, preferably not friends. And if you are going to, knock on doors and things like that, it's important this year because we should avoid really knocking on, elderly people doors and things like that. I think that's going to be very important this year. Children should really, keep their mask on. So meaning that, the costume mask is not considered, effective. So please keep your masks on, maybe incorporate it in your costume somehow. Obviously do not put on, a mask and then the costume mask on top, because that, might increase the risk of suffocation and we don't want that. But, try to incorporate it in the costume, but keep your masks on.
Right. So basically, it's probably best if your costume design incorporates the mask that you are mandated to wear at this particular stage of the pandemic, which is to cover your nose and your mouth. And so just for, okay, we just described the safety tips for trick-or-treaters. What about the people who are preparing the treats for the trick-or-treaters? I mean, there should be precautions taken in that department as well.
Right. So ideally having like pre-packed sweets or treats, you know, because a lot of the commercially available are like packaged and things like that. So doing that, avoiding like handing them, so putting them like physically distant, so maybe in baskets. So if you're planning on having a basket in front of your house, you know, probably leaving it 6 feet from the door and having them, you know, take the treats from that basket rather than handing them in person. It's going to be very important.
So I think it's just important, and thank you for sharing all of this with us, Doctor, because while I think it's probably recommended that people either explore virtual parties and or have an intimate Halloween this year. If you feel compelled to have to go out and trick or treat, let's say they do keep it outdoors, let's say they go visit stores or whatever it is that they're doing in a park possibly, and there's candies being exchanged. Like, what would be the safety precautions for everyone to be mindful, aside from, of course, the social distancing? But really, I think what I'm asking is anything concerning the fact that one hand is being put on a package and then another hand is picking up that same package.
Absolutely. But I think the most important, you know, transmissibility of COVID happens from person to person, air, like via the air. So that is the most important thing to consider. So staying 6 feet apart, you know, is the key factor. Now, contact exposure is also important, maybe less so, but still important. So again, like, you know, avoiding these contacts. So putting baskets rather than handing them by hand is going to be the thing to do this year. And like you said, you know, I mean, I think that, you know, if we really have to do these things, do it outdoors in parks. So trunk or treating is also, you know, poses the same risk on our children and on the parents. So I think that we should really avoid that and rather, you know, pick, like, as you said, like, you know, costume parties virtually on Zoom, or maybe, you know, a scavenger hunt within the family, you know, within the family home. I think that this is, you know, safer than doing trick-or-treating per se. But if you really have to, key message, do it outdoors.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for giving us your time. Are there any last words you want to share with our viewers?
No, just keep in mind that it seems like, you know, we're on an uptrend with the infection. So, you know, it's very important now with Halloween and probably also Thanksgiving that we keep socially distanced, keep it within the family, like the cellular family, like just our parents and the kids, keeping it within that circle, and mostly outdoors for everybody rather than indoor activities, just to curb that virus, because it seems like we're on an uptrend. It's going to get worse this winter.
Oh gosh, well, I hope not, but thank you for your advice. You're hearing it from the doctor, Dr. Rhina Valentin. She's saying it's probably best to explore anything outdoors for this Halloween season. And if not, keep it intimate, keep it home, keep it on Zoom. And most importantly, make sure you wear your mask and sanitize your hands. All right, you guys, to make an appointment with a pediatrician, go to sbhny.org. And for more safety recommendation tips related to COVID-19, you can visit cdc.gov. We do have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a thriller shot during the pandemic. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. Our next guests are a group of creatives, also known as the Brady Bunch, who all had the opportunity to participate in the BX48 Film Challenge to create a thriller entitled A Night Call. And the short film follows a young woman that goes on a date with a high school classmate that she comes across on a dating app, but is not exactly what she expects. Joining us to tell us more, we welcome producer and director Leomari Rodriguez, actor Sonchi Lopez, and Leonardo Rodriguez. Hola.
Hi, Rhina.
Hi, you guys. The Brady Bunch. You got to tell me. We got to open up with that. The Brady Bunch, because, bueno, estamos con Rodríguez y López. Tiene que ser en español.
Well, Sanji, I'm gonna let Sanji take this one. She got the story behind this.
So we are the Brady Bunch, El Brady Bunch, like you said, Rhina. And the name came to fruition because we were all meeting virtually through Zoom. So like we were looking at each other like, hey. And we're like, yo, we're the Brady Bunch, naturally. So that's how the name came to fruition.
Okay, so when you say you were meeting together for this rehearsal process through Zoom, because I did not introduce you, but I do want to share with everyone that everybody here is also works at BronxNet, except for Leonardo, but right? Leonardo is not at BronxNet, is he? I don't know, because, you know, I haven't seen everybody in so long that I don't know who's with us and who's not. But, you know, I will say Leonardo's looking a little creepers over there, like in the film, but we'll get to that in a minute. However, both these young ladies are with BronxNet. Leomari works in programming, right? I don't know exactly your exact title. Sanji is a producer. She also hosts Open BxRx on Tuesdays. Leomari, tell me the exact title that you carry within BronxNet.
I'm the content acquisitions coordinator. So I just search for films and, you know, video content, and we put it on the channels.
That's what's up. And it's lovely that it's all related and that now you're able to showcase your film, especially during this particular time. So going back to the making of this film and the process, which is what Sanji was talking about, that you were all meeting through Zoom and everybody was, I guess, connecting and rehearsing, looking at each other like this. Let's talk about what that whole process was from beginning to end.
Sure. So me and Sanji already knew the organizers from the Bronx Film 48 Festival a year ago, and we were kind of just wanting to tune in to see if they were going to have this festival during the pandemic. And when we found out that they were, we put our heads together, and then we started reaching out to people to see who would be interested in joining us during the process. And it was kind of a back-to-back thing where people just started saying yes. And we just went back and forth, like, do we need an editor? Do we need this person? Do we need that person? And that's how things came to be. So a lot of it, you know, the Brady Bunch, we were meeting through Zoom, through Google Hangouts, and that's where the beginning of our team came to be.
Of the team, right? And then I personally never knew that Sanji was an actor.
I am a character. I'm not an actor, but you know,
We love that about you.
You know me, Rhina. I always like acting crazy and you know, making people laugh. So this is a completely different venture for me. But Leomari believed in me and Leonardo, her brother, in taking on this role. And this is completely different. It's completely out of my realm. But I had so much fun like playing this role and learning how to like act scared in a film, in a horror film, not to give too much away.
Right, don't give too much away, but now we're going to talk to Leonardo over here, who is disguised as what? What is that, a perrito? Is that a Doberman? ¿Qué es eso?
I want to say it's a wolf. It's a little cooler than a dog.
Yo no puedo. You got your backdrop set lovely. I mean, you're like really into this horror stuff, and quite frankly speaking, you're a little on the creepy creeper side in the film.
Yes, I am.
So can we see your face so we can show everybody?
Sure.
There you are.
Hopefully I don't look as creepy as the mask.
So let's talk about how much time it took to put the whole thing together, shooting in that apartment. Obviously you had to deal with angles, you had to deal with lighting, you had to deal with reenacting the scare that, I mean, I don't want to give too much away either, but it was an interesting concept, and actually made me wonder, maybe people shouldn't be dating on Tinder.
Right.
Or in person anyway.
Yeah. So it was a challenge itself, just dealing with the pandemic on its own, because we didn't know if it was safe to be inside or outside. That was a time period of the pandemic that we had to shoot in. But the challenge was that they had us shooting inside. So we did the best that we could with that. Thankfully, the team was well versed in like lighting and the space. It's an apartment, but it's pretty big. So we had like a writer's room. We had most of the space converted into the set or different set and settings. So that was something that helped out a lot, that we had the space to do it and it was sufficient enough for us to do it. And the team was amazing.
So the turnaround was in 48 hours to complete the whole film, edited and all?
Yeah, so they gave us the genre and, you know, our prompts on a Friday, and we had to submit everything finalized by Sunday. So 48 hours, yeah.
And so Sanji, I know you're an actor in the whole thing as well, but what other roles were you playing? Because I know if you guys had to do this in 48 hours, everybody was wearing multiple hats.
Oh, definitely. You know, so before we even started, Leomari and I, like she said, kind of like explored the topics that we were gonna like try to shoot. At first, we wanted to like shoot a dog story, but then that was out of the question. And then we conceptualized like a story about, you know, dating and all of this stuff. And then the other part of the group, because this is only 3 out of like 6 of us, Leo, right?
I think
the Brady Bunch is like, yeah, it's comprised of many more people that are not here with us today, but they brought everything to light with us. And I feel like maybe my other role was maybe helping produce a little bit. And like, but besides that, I was just taking acting cues. Like I was trying to be on my best behavior as an actor, not be dramatic, not be like overwhelmed. In 48 hours, Rhina, can you imagine like shooting for like 10 hours straight?
Oh my gosh.
For like 10 hours and we had to do retakes and retakes. And I'm like, oh my God.
The crying was for real. The crying was for real.
Yes, it was.
So Leonardo, what was that like working with your sister?
It was pretty fun. I've always seen her work on these projects. She would always do photo shoots, films, and I would kind of be in the background helping out. And I was never really a part of it. So finally being a part of one of her projects was a pretty good experience to finally be an actual part of the entire process rather than just in the background watching everything unfold.
Are you an actor?
I wouldn't consider myself an actor, but I do like tricking people into having them think that I'm somebody I'm not. So I guess in a way it kind of correlates.
Oh my gosh. And the fact that he's an officer, right? Ooh, did I give too much away? All right, so congratulations, right? Because you also won the contest, no?
Yes. Well, I won an award I won a couple awards in the contest.
Awards within it, right? And so now it's going to premiere on BronxNet, and it's wonderful that you're premiering it on Halloween. And so before we go, I want you each to just share what you want people to walk away with and what you got out of that. But really quickly, because we're short on time.
Yeah, man. So for me, I would say just do it. Just do whatever comes to mind when it comes to being creative. My lane is documentary, but if you feel called to do something else that's not in your lane, well, you never know until you try. So that's what I got out of it.
That's awesome.
I got to share the same sentiment. I mean, sharing the same sentiment as Leo, just do it. Like, I didn't know anything about acting, and I delved into this for a 48-hour film challenge. And also, I want to add that the film scene in the Bronx is booming. People are out here making films just like Leomari. So I'm just happy to be a part of this amazing venture with the Brady Bunch.
Awesome. And Leonardo?
Yeah, I third that. So if you ever feel like you don't feel comfortable doing something, you should do it anyway. Like when my sister told me about the film, I was like, I'm not an actor. And when I started having that thought, I realized I'm at a point in my life where when I do feel uncomfortable, I do want to get out of that comfort zone. And I end up saying yes anyway, just so I can go ahead and just do it and see how it goes.
That's what's up. And you know, if there's anything that this time period has taught us all, is to just pretty much explore anything that you have maybe kept suppressed or doubted, in the sense of like, we pretty much don't know what tomorrow's going to promise. So you might as well just expand on anything you're interested in doing. And I just want to congratulate you all on taking the 48-hour challenge. And also for you guys, what this 48-hour challenge, the film is called Night Call, and it's going to be airing on BronxNet channel Optimum 68, 2134 Files on Saturday, October 31st at 8:30 p.m. And we recommend that you guys tune in, support our peeps, local filmmakers. And for more on filmmaker and photographer Leomari Rodriguez, you can follow her on Instagram at Directed by Leo. We do have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to learn what the next generation is doing to encourage people to vote for this upcoming election. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. So the presidential election is just a few days away, and while early voting has already been on the way, our guests are encouraging the next generation to vote through civic engagements and more. And joining us to discuss more about their voter guides and issue scorecards for climate, criminal, gender, LGBT, immigration, and racial justice, we welcome YVote members Angelina Bland, Mia Payne, and Anthony Vidals. Hello and welcome. I can't hear you guys.
Hi, thanks for having
Hi.
us.
Hello.
Well, thank you for dressing up for the occasion. Is everybody
Yeah.
doing good on this Halloween weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first I want to acknowledge you for taking on the responsibility of mobilizing the next generation into having their voices heard. Let's start by introducing why you guys joined YVote and why is youth voting and youth civic engagement so important to each of you. You want to start, Anthony?
Sure. Hi, my name is Anthony. This year I was like really excited and always wanted to like figure out a way to like make a difference for especially for like LGBT plus community. And why not join YVote? I was super excited and definitely wanted to learn and make a huge difference and know what I can do to make, you know, a difference and change so much issues going on, like such as discrimination. And I was just, you know, glad to be part of YVote.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Angelina?
Hi, I'm Angelina, and I joined YVote because I just wanted to learn so much more about how our government works and like ways that we can take action as a community. And it's so amazing how YVote works because not only are we learning so much information like electoral college and doing scorecards on candidates, but we use that information to go to our communities. Like we would be able to tell our clubs and our schools about what we're learning so then everyone else knows about voting.
Beautiful. Mia, unmute yourself before you speak. Hi.
Hi, yes, I joined YVote because of its incredible initiative, and I really just wanted to know what it means to fulfill my civic duty. And I feel like voting just really redefines power in a government that usually marginalizes communities of color. And being from the Bronx, I feel like it's really important to vote and to really just vote for candidates that are going to represent issues that are usually marginalized, but they care about and they can bring action to and awareness to.
So what I did, the ages of all of you, because I'm just loving the way you're communicating and I'm looking forward to sharing with our viewers your scorecards because they're lovely. Anthony, how old are you?
I'm 17.
And Mia?
I'm 16.
And Angelina?
I'm 15.
15, 16, and 17. Amazing. So let's talk about how you feel regarding this political moment. Like, how do you feel it's impacting you?
For young people, I feel like we're really honestly being inspired and like based off of social media because of the social media platform that we have during this movement compared to other movements in the past, there's a lot more activists and there's a lot more leaders that we can look up to, which is very helpful like in the future because I think as young people, we're usually told that like we are the future, but now just with climate change and with everything just happening in the world, like going on so fast and that there's a ticking clock, it's like we actually are the future. We actually know that we have that responsibility. So it's important that during this political moment in time that we just really educate ourselves. We clarify what we want to do in the future because we're responsible for the future and we have a position and a place that we really have to take as Generation Z. So I think that we're honestly just being more educated than ever, more inspired than ever, and more inclusive than ever.
Yeah, Mia, is that why you're disguising yourself? Because you're like, you sound like you're going to be into politics. Anthony, did you want to say something? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no.
No? All right, so you guys, so tell us about your experiences with YVote and why, what is it that what exactly do each of you do within YVote? You want to start, Angelina?
Yes, please. Well, for me in YVote, I am a part of the criminal justice group. So I've been a part of YVote since the summer, and it was such a great experience that I had to come back for the fall because it was just so inspiring being able to learn. Not only do you learn from like your facilitators and your teachers, but we also learn from one another as students. So there's just so much information being given and so many different perspectives that it's so inspirational because it's like we have so many people that are so inclusive and so like educational. It's amazing. And also like in YVote, what we do is like we learn more about how to vote, the process of voting, who is able to vote, who is not able to vote. So we all just get that type of information. And also it's like really been eye-opening because it like shows you like what you didn't know. Like for me personally, I never knew about electoral college or what it even is until I got into YVote. And it's like I've learned so much and it's just
well, you know, and the thing about it is you learn by being in the conversation and being amongst peers who are also part of that conversation. So Anthony, what sector do you represent?
I represent the LGBT plus group.
And
and it's honestly really great because, you know, as an openly gay person, I finally get to like be with a group of people who have the same idea, working to make a huge difference in our country. So it was amazing.
And so Mia, that leaves me with you. So we are already touched criminal, LGBT, which means you are?
I'm climate justice. We recently renamed ourselves to environmental justice because we wanted to focus on more than the climate, just as environmental racism, especially which is so like prominent being in the Bronx. So I'm in the environmental justice group because climate justice and environmental justice is the fight of our generation. And we really just have to focus on the climate. We have to focus on what we need to do to really save like our global like society, because we have to understand that when we look at the news, people are running from wildfires. Like we speak about climate refugees in our scorecards, and people are running from wildfires. They're running from like extreme temperatures, and it's like we're constantly just running to somewhere to be safe. But like the reality is like parts of the Bronx are going to be underwater within several years, and it's like we cannot just keep running. We have to actually attack the issue, because eventually, like, I don't want this place to become somewhere where none of us want to exist because there's no place to actually be safe because we didn't act sooner.
Spoken like a true activist. All right, you guys, how long have each of you been with YVote?
Since the summer.
You've been since the summer, Mia?
Yeah, since the summer.
Of this year, 2020?
Yes.
Yeah. And Angelina?
Summer of 2020.
Okay, so what inspired each and every one of you to be part of this conversation, to learn the language of politics, to be a stand for your respective sections or sectors? What made you move in this direction of just making sure that you're part of the change?
Well, what made me want to join YVote and really want to be more civically engaged is that I've always had like a passion for criminal justice and criminal law, and I've always wanted to be a lawyer. So I saw YVote as an opportunity to further my research, to further my studies into those type of topics. And also I've seen like so much like gentrification and so many racism and like so many other different types of stereotypes and like realities that people have to go through in our neighborhoods in the Bronx, and it's unfair treatment. And I believe that everyone has the right to be able to vote, the right to be able to have their freedoms, be able to have a better community. And
right.
I see YVote as an opportunity to better my community and my family.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Really quickly, guys, your reasons for being part of YVote?
Okay. Honestly, for me, it was because Generation Z inspires me like so much. I'm constantly inspired by my generation. We're like the most ethnically and racially diverse generation that this world has ever seen, which means we are the most powerful generation this world has ever seen. And just being a young Black girl from the Bronx and knowing that I have a voice and knowing that I have ideas that someone else at the table may not have, just that I can represent like multiple communities, I think is really important that I engage myself in that and remind people of their civic duty and their civic engagement. And basically just being in YVote within the different action groups, it's like you get to really understand, you get to have people understand that there are certain issues that you care about and there are candidates that can help you take those issues into action.
Wonderful. And last, Anthony, before we go.
To add on what she said, it's really important for all of us to use our voice and our power. It's definitely something that is a power that we all have. And I know there's many people out there who don't really have that. So why not use our voice to speak up for everyone else who just doesn't have it, and of course for ourselves too.
I love it. You guys are doing such a fine job. Thank you for bringing it here to our open viewers. Angelina Bland, Anthony Vidals, and Mia Payne. They are all members of YVote. This is what our future looks like, you guys. Make sure you get out and vote. Once again, remember the last day for early voting is November 1st. Make sure to check your polling site at findmypollsite.vote.nyc. Also, for more on YVote and their upcoming events, check them out on IG at YVoteNY. Don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
World's greatest daredevil here. Anybody can jump a motorcycle. The trouble begins when you try to land it. You see, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I did everything by the seat of my pants. That's why I got hurt so much. But I'm still here, ready to give you the best in sports. Because bones heal, pain is temporary. Chicks dig scars, glory is forever. Like my man, Scott Dixon. Although Joseph Newgarden won the battle Sunday, Dixon won the war. Newgarden won a wild NTT IndyCar Series season finale in the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg and a head-to-head showdown with Dixon for the series championship. Still wasn't, good enough to stop Mr. Bourne Racer. Dixon finished third to seal his 6th IndyCar championship by just 16 points over the defending champ Newgarden. We caught up with the two to talk about the thriller.
We just had a smooth day. That's all we had to do. Obviously, I think the hardest thing about today was just the restarts. The pace car speed was pretty slow, so it was hard to build temperature. And that was the only thing I was really worried about, was just being, getting collected or making a small mistake.
It's tough. It's tough to get to this point and to look at the year and some of the things that we've come back from and certainly how close we got to and then to fall short. But, at the end of the day, we did. We fell short. Just wasn't good enough. So, I think all we can do is shake our competitor's hand, tell Scott, great job, tell his team, great job, and come back next year and hit him harder.
Dixon won 4 times this season, including the first 3 races of the COVID-19 campaign. He now sits just 1 title behind the all-time IndyCar record of 7 championships set by my good friend, the legendary A.J. Foyt. Dixon may have to wait another year or 2 to eclipse the top spot in IndyCar. In Formula One, Lewis Hamilton stands alone. Lewis used Sunday to claim a record 92nd F1 victory at the Portuguese Grand Prix. That win moves him ahead of the legendary Michael Schumacher, his childhood idol, for the most wins in the sport's history. More on Lewis in the C-list. Nothing stood in the way of Dixon and Hamilton this past weekend, but in NASCAR, Mother Nature did. Rain specifically. The Auto Trader Eco Park Automotive 500 began Sunday in Texas with drivers completing 52 of 334 laps before a light mist and drizzle escalated. Nagging rain washed out Monday's attempts to continue the race, pushing it to Tuesday. But even that proposed schedule was thwarted for a 3rd straight day of inclement weather. Nonetheless, we caught up with NASCAR's best for more.
We were that close to having a shot at winning earlier this year. And so that gives us that good motivation, good vibes, and good feel to know that we're close. And now we have to execute here in November to do the right things to win with cooler track temps.
The best thing for us to do is to go win that thing. There's 3 races left in the season and simple math. If I win one of the next two, and then the last one will win the championship. And so I'm trying to keep it that simple.
The 501 miler is the second of 3 events in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs round of 8. This round will determine the final 4 drivers who will race for the title November 8th at Phoenix Raceway. The championship 4 field will be set after the round of 8 finale scheduled Sunday at Martinsville Speedway. Only Joey Logano has clinched a championship 4 berth thanks to his victory in the round opener October 18th at Kansas Speedway. How about a NASCAR star making the leap to IndyCar? All-time great Jimmy Johnson will be driving a new car next year that'll be sponsored by a used car retailer. Carvana signs on to back the 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champs move to IndyCar in 2021. Here's more.
We're excited to get things started. I'll be at Barber at the test session next Monday, and then again at Laguna Seca on the 10th. So between the at track and then also being in the shop and trying to learn anything and everything I can, being here at the track, I'm just personally on a journey trying to learn as much as I can in a short period of time.
All right. Enough of this 4-wheel stuff. Help me, Tom Cruise. I know I can always count on Tom Cruise. That's what Ricky Bobby told me right here on Open one Halloween. Cruise continues to show his riding chops on screen, performing yet another motorcycle stunt for his upcoming blockbuster, Mission Impossible 7. Oh, Tommy boy, you're a man after my own heart. MI7 is tentatively scheduled for release November 19th, 2021. Well, motocross rider Jeremy Durst gave new meaning to Mission Impossible with this latest stunt. In true Hollywood fashion, you could say the 30-year-old from Miami, Florida is a real wedding crasher. Check this out. Durst goes down, but he actually stages his crash at Motorama in Harrisburg, PA, so that the biker could come up with a proposal to his beautiful girlfriend, Sarah Frank. He went down as if he was injured, rising to his feet and then turning around so that his back was to the crowd. An official ran towards him, sneaking him the ring in the process before worried Sarah rushed from the stands towards her boyfriend. When she bent down to check on him, he was on one knee, holding up the ring. Enough of this cutesy stuff. Motorcycles are for gladiators like me, like Joanne Mir. Could Mir become the first Premier Class world champion to take home the MotoGP crown without winning a race this season? Does that make Mir any less a MotoGP champion than, say, Marc Marquez? This maddest of mad MotoGP seasons reaches its climax next month. So far, Fabio Quartararo has won the most races with 3 victories in 11 races, but none of the 8 men to win this season is leading the World Championship. The man with the most points is Suzuki's Mir, who has yet to win a race or start from pole position. Unbelievable. Meantime, here in the U.S., Moto America wrapped up a successful campaign at Laguna Seca in California. Some props go out to local product Corey Alexander for a strong finish to the season. The Hudson Valley Motorcycles rider secured 2nd in the Superstock Championship and 3rd in the Superbike Cup. Excited to see even more from him in 2021. As a motorcycle daredevil, I usually don't get as pumped for stick and ball games, but you've got to be thrilled by the World Series this year. The Fall Classic certainly didn't disappoint. Some epic moments in the 2020 showdown between the LA Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays. Ultimately, LA takes it in 6. Star shortstop Corey Seager is your MVP for the champion Dodgers. Give the Rays some credit, though, for extending this series as deep with a payroll nowhere near the Dodgers. The Rays give new meaning to Moneyball. Our New York football teams give new meaning to the word futility. We go inside the locker room for the latest on the woeful Giants and Jets.
We expect this to be a tough game, a physical game, a 60-minute game. That's exactly what we got. I thought our players played hard. Though we showed a lot of flashes throughout the game of ways we want to play the game, and there's some things we did that held us back.
Obviously, we got to execute a little bit better. Hopefully put some more points up on the board. But, yeah, I felt like I, besides the, late second quarter turnover that I had, I felt like I played pretty well in that first half.
Gangrene faces the defending champion Chiefs Sunday in Kansas City. The Giants draw the ageless Tom Brady and the high-powered Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. I know a thing or two about injuries, but I can't say I've ever had what happened to Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator Mike Nolan. Nolan was forced to halt his press conference after rubbing his eye. Now, why do you ask about that? Because Nolan had hot sauce on his fingers. Tabasco sauce accomplishes what the Cowboys defense couldn't. As bad as the NFC East is this year, the Cowboys defense may be the worst in the division. Let that all be a lesson to all of you. Watch out for hot sauce in the eye. We hit the C list for the most important lesson of them all. America, Election Day is next week. Get up off your you-know-what and vote. Like 26th President Teddy Roosevelt would say, it is better to take a chance in life, to win a victory or suffer defeat, even though scarred by failure, than to live in the shadow of life as some do, never knowing a victory or defeat, because they have not the guts to try either. Head to the polls, my friends, and vote for Lewis Hamilton, not Kanye, not the other two guys. Vote for the Formula One GOAT. Strip away the fact that Sunday was Hamilton's record-setting 90-second win, and instead focus on how he caught, passed, and extended a 25-second lead over Mercedes teammate Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton simply crushed Bottas and showcased the talent that has seen him surpass Schumacher's record. The victory was perfectly timed. It illustrates the skill that is now making history on a weekly basis. Let's make racing in this country great again. Here's to the Daredevils. Godspeed. Happy Halloween, y'all.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is a singer and songwriter from Jersey whose musical sound is a mixture of electro pop with a mix of R&B, and well, her musical influences growing up include Christina Aguilera, Chaka Khan, and Lauryn Hill. Here to share more about her music, please welcome Alexa Ayaz. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here with us, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Your first single, right?
Yes, my brand new single Toxic is out, which I'm super excited about. And yeah, I'm so excited to be here and to share it with you guys.
Oh, we're excited to have you, and it's a big accomplishment because this particular time and this new reality that we're all living seems to be putting people on pause. So it's really important to share that you could still move forward with whatever circumstances are thrown in your direction. So let's talk about what your journey's been like.
It's been, honestly, a lot of people probably don't know this about me, but I've been doing music for the last 7 years. And, you know, it's definitely, it's a hard industry and it's hard to get yourself known as an artist. So I'm finally happy that I'm at a place in my career where I'm doing the music that I love. I have such like a cool fan base, people who can like relate to my music, which is awesome. So yeah, it's been a process, but now I'm finally happy. Like I said, I'm releasing music that I love, which is super important to me. So I'm just excited to see what else is in store for me.
Well, we're excited for you. And while I introduced your inspirations, just share a little bit more about how they inspired you and how it relates to the kind of music that you're creating.
Yeah, so I definitely, like you said, I grew up listening to Christina Aguilera, Chaka Khan, Lauryn Hill. And it's actually funny, I always say this story. I actually met Chaka Khan at the Grammys last year, and she was so sweet. And I literally told her, I was like, you inspired me so much to do music, which she did. I just grew up listening to all these artists. My mom always had them playing in my house growing up, and especially someone like them who have such strong and powerful voices. I feel like I could relate to them so much. And, you know, I would love to hopefully too in the future, maybe do a song with them. So, so we'll see. But yeah, they definitely.
It's like just putting it out there, you know.
Just putting it out there. Yes, I would love that. But yeah, they definitely inspired me and, you know, made me realize that I truly want to do music as my career.
So based on what we're going to be presenting to our viewers and even your song title, Toxic, let's talk about your messaging.
Yes.
You're also a songwriter as well. So let's talk about where that information comes from and what kind of impact you're trying to have on your audience.
So I always say I want to do music that's very relatable, especially to girls who are going through heartbreak. Because I know when I'm sad or going through something, music has always been, you know, something that saved me. So when I was writing Toxic in the studio, me and my writer, we were talking about it, and I was going through a heartbreak. So it was really something that I went through. And this song, in a sense, helped me, you know, just get over it and just realize this boy was toxic and no good for me. And when I, you know, released it, a lot of girls came to me and were like, thank you. Like, this song is so relatable. And, you know, it made me realize, like, I don't need this guy. I'm moving on. So as an artist, that is like the coolest thing to hear, that people can just relate to you and your music helped them get through something. So that was the message. And clearly it worked. So I'm happy.
Awesome. And clearly it's your form of therapy. So yes. Bravo to you for finding a way to find your own sense of relief and release.
Yes.
And on top of that, creating something that you can share with other people to relate to.
Yes. And that's the main thing. I think as an artist, when, you know, people tell you that they can relate to your music and, you know, it helped them, that is just like the greatest feeling in the world.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing it. You guys, you're going to have to stay tuned because, bueno, Alexa is going to give us a sneak peek of her new single, right? But we have to take a break, and when we return, she's going to perform for us, so don't go anywhere.
Yes.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Here now to perform her new single, Toxic. Let's give it up for Alexa Ayaz. If it ain't good, get rid of it. For more on Alexa Ayaz music, be sure to follow her on social media at Alexa Ayaz. Bueno, that is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recap cast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide peace, prosperity, y amor. Have a safe Halloween, wear your mask, and don't forget to vote. Vote, 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 vote.